March 14, 2012, my son Thomas lost his battle with the disease of addiction. I now belong to a club that no parent should ever belong to. Do you know the signs? Do you know the trends that children are doing in today's world? Do you know the signs and symptoms? Do you know the signs and symptoms of drug abuse? I want to empower and educate Long Islanders by bringing a force of professionals and how to prevent the disease of addiction. Long Island in crisis.
Speak from the heart. Let's have a
Hi,
conversation.
how are you? Welcome to Long Island in Crisis. Tonight my guest is Tatiana Green, and we had Tatiana on with Jason a few weeks ago. Tatiana is a young person in recovery. She is a CASAC tea worker. She works with Ambrosia. She is an interventionalist, and it is my pleasure to be sitting here with her this evening. This show is dedicated to empower and educate people on the disease of addiction. It is not a moral failing to suffer with the disease of addiction. We have to get away from the shame and stigma. My son Thomas lost his battle at the age of 21 due to an overdose. Today I spoke out on News 12 because the federal government is cutting the budget for the DEA agents to do their job to get drugs off the street. This is unacceptable in our society today. We are losing a generation of young people. One family every day in Long Island, in New York, wakes up without a loved one. The same is across this great nation of ours. So we need to have a little outrage. We need to come together and be united on a common cause. So on August 30th of 2015 at Farmingdale State College, we will be conducting a walk bringing Nassau County and Suffolk County on Long Island, New York, together from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. to walk in unison and bring awareness to the disease of addiction, to remember those who have lost their battle, to encourage those who are still struggling, and to celebrate all those in recovery. Welcome, Tatiana.
Thank you. Thank you for having me today.
Look at you, the face of recovery. So, I mean, it is an amazing journey. I know that. Trouble is the gift, as they say. So you,
very true.
There is nothing that you can't do now that you've battled the worst demon in the world, really.
That's very true, 100%.
Yeah. So talk to me. You were just at Young People in Recovery, and YPR is a national organization for young people in recovery. So what is the purpose of YPR?
Yeah, so the purpose of YPR is to educate and empower young people, and pretty much the goal is to develop chapters all across the nation where people can get into leadership roles, promote recovery, plan recovery type of events, plan workshops. There would be something like a housing lead, which would help people that needed maybe treatment or sober living, and then there would be an education lead, which would be the person that would be able to connect people in recovery to different school districts or workshops where they can develop themselves as a human being. And then there's like a fundraising lead, which is somebody who's responsible for, fundraising for the organization, so we can create these workshops and create that kind of thing for all of the people. Right now, I think we've been around for about 4 or 5 years, and I recently became the New York City chapter lead. And
oh, congratulations!
Thank you, thank you. So it's a blessing. So I'm going to be responsible for really building that chapter up, and I'm a strong believer in attraction. So, I mean, I am constantly talking about my recovery. I'm excited about my recovery. My life is a miracle.
You should be excited about your
Thank
recovery.
you. Thanks.
And you know what I hear from young people all the time, especially when they're teetering, in that place? What do you mean I can never drink? for the rest of my life. I never had a problem with alcohol. Why can't I, they need to have a club that they can go to see. You don't need substance to make you feel good or relax or be yourself around your peers. Because a lot of people just they need to have that, I don't know, that magic pill they think it is to bring them out of themselves.
Right, to enjoy their time. I talk to so many people, and it's like, well, when I drink, I'm more sociable, or I'm the life of the party, and I have more fun, and I feel like I'm missing something if I'm not drinking, because most of the young population is drinking in schools. But here's the thing. Some of those people that are drinking, that are over the age of 21, of course, or even younger, are non-alcoholic, and they can have a drink and then put it down. But then there's a population that can't.
Yes.
And then we need to teach people that they need to differentiate between, is this me or is this not me? And that's the whole thing. When I first got into recovery, I never knew how to have fun without a drink or a drug at all, and I thought that was the only way to live. And then I started to go paddleboarding, go surfing, play pool, and do like little things, and it was the most fun that I've ever had. And then eventually I forgot about the substance completely, and I didn't even want it. And now people could be squirting alcohol and drugs at me, and I wouldn't even care, because I feel so good about myself today, and I mean that.
You've done the hard work.
Yes.
You are comfortable to be. When you're alone, you are not alone.
Exactly.
You have good company.
Yes.
And it's a place that everyone needs to be able to get to, because when I'm alone, I'm not lonely. I can enjoy myself and my time and do activities and meet new people. I don't feel that I don't suffer with the disease of addiction either. But that being said, feeling comfortable in your own skin, and being able to do whatever you need to do is an art that needs to be learned by everyone.
Yeah. And it's an ongoing battle. And sometimes it comes in and out. Like, there's some times where I'm just sad.
Yeah.
But I can't run to a drink because I'm sad, because what's going to happen? I tell people, like, sometimes I'll go out and I'll be sad, or maybe I go out and people are normal and they're having a drink, and they're like, oh, here, do you want a drink, Tatiana? And I'm like, no, I'm allergic. I break out in handcuffs. And they all laugh at me. They're like, that's a good one. That's a good one.
That is a good one.
But it's true, because when I drink and when I drug, I don't drink like a normal person. I just don't.
No, there's no shut-off valve.
No, there's no shut-off valve. So I don't want it.
No.
And now I can be myself, my full self, my real self, not masked by anything. And it took me years to do that work.
It does.
It really did. It takes a long time.
It takes a long time, and everybody's journey is unique upon themselves. However, it's not if life is going to knock you down or you're going to have a bad day. It's when life is going to knock you down.
Exactly.
So we all need to be equipped to be able to handle what you can handle, and let go of what you can't control, and just move through things. So I always share with people, especially people struggling with recovery, no doctor would not have given me any prescription for whatever I wanted when Thomas died. Mm-hmm. I could have drank, I could have done whatever, and people would have said, oh, she lost her son. Whenever I got off that roller coaster, I still would have had to face the feeling that my son was gone. So you have to deal with the problems that come at you as best you can, and do as much as you can, and then you let the rest go for another day.
Very true.
You just have to get through life, and whether that's just cuddling up all in your bed and watching a movie, or getting together with friends, right, and just being supported by other people that will just love you through things. So it's important that everyone learn those skills, because we have a generation of children starting from 10 on that do not have any coping skills for today's world.
No.
And your parents cannot go in and solve all their problems.
No.
They need to feel defeated. They need to feel sad. They need to experience life and all of those things that you're never going to get everything that you want.
Yes, exactly.
So you might as well learn to enjoy what you do accomplish and work harder for what you want to accomplish. And sometimes in that moment of time, you're not going to win the prize. That doesn't mean you won't win it the next time.
Yes, and that's what life is about in general. You know, I heard people say before, you know, you can't put a Band-Aid over a bullet wound. It's like, you know, I can't put things and men and stuff and more things on top of the pain that I'm feeling from my addiction. It has to come from within. It's an inside job, and it really, really is. I have to nourish myself. I read a lot of books. I pray, and that's something that I choose. Some people, that's not their path. That's fine. Whatever works for your recovery, that's what you do, you know, and I've been developing new things as time goes on. What worked for me, you know, in my first year, I'm not necessarily doing that. I may be doing newer things that I've learned now, you know, that I didn't even know about.
As a person.
Yeah.
You're, you know, as you get more mature, you're going to have to. We all have to reinvent what works for all of us. We're all works in progress.
Yes.
And the day you stop learning or the day you stop trying something new, then where are you?
That's true.
You know, every day you should learn one new thing. Every day you should try one new thing.
Yeah.
If you fail, so what? That right?
You fail your way to success, they say, right?
That's it. Well, yes. Fall forward to success.
Right, exactly.
Absolutely.
You know, I want to talk about a couple things that have been happening a lot lately.
Okay.
You know, every time I deal with a client or a sponsee or somebody that I'm working with that's in the grips of the addiction, I always have this second thought, like, am I doing the right thing, you know, by telling their mom, okay, no, tell them the treatment or have to get out. Or, you know, there's certain things that I say, and they'll get really, really angry at me, and there's always that voice that says, maybe you can approach it differently, but then in the end, I stand my ground because I know I'm fighting against this person's addiction. And I'm not God, I don't control it. Right, which is the devil. So I'm fighting against this person's addiction. And sometimes in the beginning, they get mad at me. Like, for example, I have this young girl that I'm working with. She's down in Florida. She's a lovely, beautiful girl. And she had left the program, overdosed. I went and got her out of a hotel, brought her back to the program, and then she left again. And this time her father called me and said, Tatiana, what do I do? Let's go get her. And I said, no, 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 no. Let's not go get her. And she stayed at the poolside and she got high that whole day. And then afterwards she was texting me, you know, you're telling my dad this stuff, just being very nasty. And for a second, I was like, you know, I don't know. And then later on in the evening, she called me and she was like, I'm really sorry, Tatiana, I'm on my way back to the treatment center. So because I stood my ground against the addiction, she went, and that was on her. I didn't tell her go back to the treatment center. I didn't say we're calling the police. She on her own. All I said was, you know what? You're going to have to do this one on your own.
Yeah.
And she went back on her own. And it's been like that. Every person that I've worked with, in the beginning, they get so angry. And this is for parents. I want them to know, like, it's okay. Let them get angry. But just know that you're standing for their recovery, because in the end, they're going to call you and they're going to thank you because they're going to have real freedom, not the illusion that the heroin or the drug or the alcohol is painting for them.
Absolutely. Very well put. But, you know, when you stand your ground, you didn't tell her anything. Mm-hmm. But everyone that's dealing with the disease of addiction, there is culpability on their part. You can't do their recovery for them.
Exactly.
When I speak to parents, there would be a lot of children that would be alive today if parents could fix them for them. Unfortunately, there's nothing that we can do or say that would change the direction. You know, you can't second guess yourself, because that person that's dealing with the recovery has to find their way. They have to find their way out. When they ask for help, yes, provide the help, but not on their terms.
No, if they help themselves.
If they help
let
themselves.
Me see what you're doing. Not let me run around for you and do everything for you. No, I will give you 100%, but I want if you give 100%. I tell that to everybody.
You and I have worked with a few people like that.
Yes.
And it's hard
yes.
to let them go, and it is
very,
heartbreaking.
it is. It's heartbreaking because then you get the phone call that this one died and that one died, and every time somebody dies, another piece of my heart breaks. But then when something else I was talking with a mom today is, when I first see the person that's on drugs, they have the devil glaze, like I like to call it, and I've said that before. And then, recently I went down to Florida and did see some of the people that I was able to help get into treatment, and I see them and they have the bright-eyed, living, the glow back in their eyes, and just seeing that helps heal,
Absolutely.
So it's worth. I couldn't pay anything to just continue, to see that in people. It's just, I get very emotional over it.
Of course,
I can't.
But
you see them so broken, and then you just see that look, and they're just sparkling, and it's incredible.
And it's heartwarming. It is heartwarming.
Yeah.
But there's hard work that needs to be done by everyone. The family especially needs to get into Al-Anon or Family Anonymous or some kind of program that's going to help them with their own toolbox, so that when the manipulating person struggling with the disease comes at you, you have your own toolbox, right?
Yeah.
And it's not an easy toolbox to carry around with you.
No.
But you have to be empowered to know how to deal with these.
You have to.
You have to.
Mom, I'll never do it again.
My goodness.
I'll never do it again. I promise you. And they mean it too.
They do mean it. They do mean it.
But they can't. The subconscious is already warped by the drugs.
And
they have to reprogram them.
And as a mom, you want to believe that statement more than anything in the whole wide world.
I can imagine.
It's just, but hold that thought, and we'll be right back after this
Thank
message.
you.
Coach is a full-service limousine and party bus company. Family-owned and operated, we are an industry leader with over 25 years of experience in providing best-in-class luxury transportation for your special event. Whether it's your precious wedding day, an all-day wine tour out east, your high school prom, that special birthday, or just an amazing night on the town, our professional chauffeurs stand ready to ensure your special event is truly special. Galaxy Luxury Coach has one of the largest and modern party bus fleets in the New York area. Our party buses are simply nightclubs on wheels. Concert sound systems, light shows, lasers and strobes, multicolor LED lighting brilliantly lights your party bus inside and out. For corporate and more laid-back events, we will cater to your specific needs and requests. What sets Galaxy aside from all others in the luxury transportation industry is our attention to detail in customizing our services to your special event. At Galaxy, it's all about you and your guests. Galaxy customers return time and time again because they know they can trust Galaxy to help deliver those lifetime memorable moments. Step aboard and let your Galaxy experience begin.
What are you looking for? You don't even know that. You're on the ball list, so you can't even answer. I'm asking you about it. You gotta be highly skilled. You gotta be highly skilled. You understand that?
Are you sick?
Are you well versed there? Are you a very smart man? Hit me with some funny shit.
My shit's twisted.
Tell me something.
What do you have right there?
That's awesome.
Well,
that's a big.
That's nice.
You know damn well.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's
Sir, are you interested in twisted or not?
Yes, I am. Sure. See you guys. That's twisted.
You see what I'm saying? You understand me? And if you can't whip out answers like that, that man is liable to during a commercial break punch your fucking mouth loose. You understand me? Time is up, sir. You understand me? You're on. You're the man. All right, give me your name now. I'm sorry.
My name is Willie.
Willie, where you working at?
We are twisted. We are awesome. Love it.
I'm George Krause, and you're watching Whoop Whoop Madhouse TV. I'm George Krause.
Welcome back to Long Island in Crisis. We are sitting here with Tatiana Green, and we just had a great conversation about dealing with people struggling to get clean and sober.
Yeah.
But I want to talk a little bit more about YPR, because I think that we have, certainly on Long Island, a generation of people that need to know where can I go to have a great time and not, you know, if you're 20 to 25, you're heading to the clubs. So
Yep.
where, and that's not a healthy place for them to be.
No.
But they want to be with their friends.
Yeah.
Or, let's put it that way, their friends who might lead them down a path.
Right, exactly.
So,
Exactly.
what kind of activities do you do with YPR?
So I can talk a little bit about this weekend. We had the National Leadership Conference, which means most of the chapter leads from all over the nation, and some of their members will come and they do an awards ceremony. They did bubble soccer. They had like a game truck like for video games come like into the field, and people would like get in the truck and like play video games. And you know, part of it was learning. They did like a suicide prevention course. They did a gender-specific group like to empower women and also to empower the men. And they went over like the new technology that YPR is using as far as the internet service that they're using, the YPR Connect. So a lot of it is learning, and you know, knowledge is power. And then some of it is also like having fun and sobriety. So like for example, one of the evenings after everybody was finished, we all went to like my father's house. You know, he has a nice pool, and it was like 40 of us, and we just honestly, we barbecued. We do what normal people do. We just don't drink.
Right.
You know, and we kind of laugh at the people that are drinking. We're like, oh my God, remember that was us. And we'll be up all night till 3 o'clock in the morning, and then the next day we sleep, but we remember what happened.
Yeah.
You know, some people will smoke cigar. I'm not saying nicotine is the greatest thing, but you know, people, soda, water, they just hang out and have a good time, listen to music. We're not boring people, and that's like the really strong message that I bring, is that we're not boring. Like, we have fun, you know. Camping trips, white water rafting, skiing, snowboarding in the winter,
That's
pool,
awesome.
beach, and we have
I know
something
that-
called,
There's a Heroin Anonymous club that formed down in Bayport, I think it is, and every Sunday they go to Robert Moses Field 4 or 5. They have a meeting, and then they all spend the day at the beach together,
yeah.
playing volleyball, swimming, surfing, whatever it is, and they're just all together. So there are a lot of outlets for young people on Long Island but you have to look for them.
Yeah.
You have to look
Yeah.
for them. Can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, definitely. YPR is connected on Facebook, Twitter,
Okay.
etc. And also we have a website. So I think it's www.youngpeopleinrecovery.org. And also we have a Facebook page. You can just type in YPR and then whichever chapter you're looking for. If you're looking for the New York City chapter, you would type in YPR-New York NYC, or the Long Island chapter, which is YPR-LI or Long Island.
If I'm in Montana, I could type in Montana. And
YPR, yeah, on Facebook.
Okay,
It's
that's
very
awesome.
accessible, and find one of the meetings. Now, some of the chapters are more developed than other chapters. Like, we recently started this New York City chapter, so I'm now developing the chapter, and Long Island, I think, a few months ago. So we really need people to like take on leadership roles
Yes.
to kind of grow,
And you need
become
members.
and we need members and people to grow. And I mean, the Jersey chapter and the Texas chapter is unreal right now, like hundreds of members.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
So
beautiful
Tatiana,
stuff.
you and I did combatheroin.ny.gov,
Yes.
and Courtney Lavelle,
Live out. Mhm.
who is, what is her position at YPR?
I believe she's the national program officer.
Okay.
So she oversees all of the chapters, and she's in a large leadership role with them. So.
And she is another New Yorker
Yes, she is.
that lives upstate,
Upstate
that
New York.
also has a big recovery story.
Yeah.
And any of our stories, you can go on to www.combatheroin.ny.gov.
Yes.
And we did a lot of videotape for that. And
Yeah.
it is very empowering in the confines of your own home and privacy to listen to stories about
Yeah.
families, about actual people who have gone through the depths and come out and are sober and clean and happy.
Yes.
And Courtney is another beautiful example of that. And look,
She's a powerhouse.
yeah, and look
Unbelievable
at where she
woman.
is. Yes.
We did an assignment. Actually, I'm going to share this. It's pretty funny. So we had to do in our women's group at the NLC. we did an assignment. You have to write down on a piece of paper, like, who are the women that you look up to, like, who would be your woman hero. And on my paper, I wrote Whitney Houston before drugs and Courtney Lavelle, and threw it in the thing. It was so cute. And I told her after, I'm like, I put you in my thing.
Oh, that's
It was
great.
adorable.
That's great. No, she is a powerhouse.
Yes,
She's
huge
very
advocate,
active
very active.
In New York State, she's active on a federal level.
Yep.
And, you know, so for anyone that is sitting at home right now, struggling with what to do with your recovery, I'm on the board of directors for FIST. You're on the advisory committee.
Yep.
You can also go to our Facebook page, Families in Support of Treatment. And we want members. We encourage you to come along, and you know, you can be a big voice, and you don't know whose life you're going to change by telling your story. So
Oh,
I think
yeah.
we have to.
Good point.
You know, I
Major point.
am blown away by different things. You know, 5 days after Thomas died, I ended up speaking to 175 people at St. Christopher's Inn in Garrison, New York. Fast forward to last October, 2 years after Thomas's passing, and I spoke in front of 600 people, and at the very end, a young man came up to me and said, I knew your son Thomas. I was at St. Christopher's when you spoke that day, and you forever changed my life. And he was a KSAC worker, and he worked for St. Joseph's in a sober living facility, and that, you know, for me, God puts me on a path to do what I do. And I'm not responsible for the outcome. I'm responsible for planting the seed. But that was his gift to me to see, there are people, more people are listening that are not listening, and you don't know whose life you're going to change.
Yes.
And whose life they're going to change.
Exactly.
And so on and
Yes,
so on and
yes.
so on.
It's a beautiful thing.
It is a beautiful thing.
You never know, and now, you know, even more, I'm starting to see, like, people are calling me, like, Tatiana, you've made such a big impact with just being you.
Yes.
Like, you don't even have to do anything. Just like who you are in recovery is impacting these kids around you. Like, it really is.
Absolutely.
And that, it just makes me feel so good that's able to happen. And then they're passing it along. Like, one of my sponsees said to me the other day, she's like, I felt you talking in my head when I was with my sponsee, and I was laughing because
that's
what we do. And it's not just me, it's everybody. We just pass along the knowledge, you know, and
pass it
our
along.
stories
You know,
are huge. Yeah.
Stories are huge because people, I could say this, you know, even when I met you and Courtney, and say, oh my gosh, look at where they came from. Because you have that experience.
Yeah.
And if people had seen you 5 years ago, to see you today, I can imagine that they would say, how did that happen?
Wouldn't even recognize me.
Right. That's empowering.
Yeah.
You know, so yes, it can be done. For anybody who's struggling right now, who says, I can't do this, not one more second, yes, you can.
Yes, you can.
Yes, you can.
I was in a very dark place in my addiction. I was homeless. I overdosed 3 times. I mean, I was going to die. I had a death sentence.
Yeah.
I did. You know, and I pulled through. I did pull through, and I did get sober. And I know if I can do it, the next person can do it.
What was your defining moment when you asked for help and meant it?
It was being tired. So many people would tell me, you're an alcoholic, you're an addict. And it was just very tiring. I was in and out of jail, getting arrested, constantly drinking. It was waking up in the morning and I needed something. And I always was obsessed with controlling it. I had to control it. I thought that I could do it on my own. The moment I realized that I wasn't able to control it is when I asked for help. Because I was like, wow, I'm not doing the drugs. Like, they're doing me.
Yes.
They're doing me.
Yes.
And that's when I said, I can't do this another day. You know, and it was all planned out from God or the universe,
Yes.
whatever you want to call it, you know, and that's
Your
when I
higher
went to
power.
rehab, my higher
Yes.
power. And I did go to rehab, and then I did get better.
You know,
but
that's why when we talk about that, that person doesn't have the choice right then. The
No.
drug is controlling. I like to, how I describe it is, Thomas was kidnapped inside of himself. He was being held someplace. And the disease of addiction and that nasty devil heroin just needed what he needed and would do anything to get that.
Yeah.
And it was just, Thomas was the host for that to live there. And they kept the real Thomas subdued. They kept him tied up and bound.
Lose yourself.
Yeah, lose yourself.
Completely lose yourself. No control over your emotions, bad choices in other areas of your life, and you feel like, I need to work, I need to do this, I need to do my laundry. It's always every excuse. But then what ends up happening is you get stuck and you stay in that consciousness, in that addiction, and you never move forward. And you think you're like running.
In a hamster wheel.
Yes, away from yourself.
Yes.
You have to stop running and face it. You stand in the face of it, and then it no longer has power over you anymore. Sometimes the streets call to me. If I listen to a certain song or, you know, that
trigger.
That trigger, it calls to you because it's fun. It's attractive.
And it also knows that it had you at one point in time.
But it kills your soul.
It does kill your soul.
And I have more fun now anyway.
Absolutely. We'll be right back after this message.
Hi, I'm Tatiana, and I'm a person in long-term recovery from heroin addiction. It was really, really hard, waking up in the morning, not knowing what to do, needing my next bag. I was so lost, but I'm here today to tell you that there is a solution. When I was in my active addiction, I didn't realize that there was another way of life. I thought that that was the only way, because it felt so good to get high, but it was all an illusion, and I didn't realize that. But today, being 4 years clean and sober, my life is absolutely amazing. I'm able to travel, I don't need a drink, I don't need a drug. I'm just happy being with myself. I couldn't understand for many years why was I doing this? It's because I was an addict, but I didn't know it. Today, many kids are becoming addicted to drugs and alcohol, but they don't know exactly what they're getting into until they're out of it. And it's our job, it's my job, to stand for these kids, stand for their recovery, and fight for their addiction. So I'm the president of Onward Forever, and I provide recovery services and support. And we're here to help. We're here to just listen. Anything that we can do to help. If you need me, this is how you get a hold of me. Please call 347-244-1550. 347-244-1550. I developed this company to help you, our families, and our community to fight this crisis on Long Island and in our nation. Thank you.
Stretching under sedation or manipulation under anesthesia is a very gentle, very precise procedure to very slowly release any scar tissue that is formed as a result of a traumatic injury. Many people ask, how does this work? Will I get hurt? Will you stretch me too far? We only stretch the body part to its normal range of motion. After completing the post-MUA rehabilitation program, it's very common that our patients say to us, hey, I can play ball with my kid again. Hey, I can bowl again. Hey, I can enjoy hiking again. This is what makes it rewarding to us as practitioners.
Welcome back to Long Island in Crisis. Tatiana and I have been talking about young people in recovery. We have our recovery walk coming up on, I want to mention it again, August 30th. You do need to go on to either the FIST website or the Facebook page. We'll get that flyer up for information. You can go to Thomas's Hope also and see the flyer. There is a link to register, and if you register, you get a t-shirt. So we want to see everyone there marching for, as I said, those who have lost their battle, those who are still struggling, and for the millions of people in recovery. And I know with, a 12-step program, a lot of people want to keep their anonymity for whatever the reason,
Yeah.
for whatever their reasons are, and they're personal. But there is no shame and stigma to having, dealt with the disease of addiction. I think more people deal with the disease of addiction than any normal person could ever realize. Would you agree?
I 100% agree, and that's a big thing with some people. Like, they don't want to share about their addiction. They get scared, or maybe they're ashamed of it, or they think that people are going to put them in a category, shun you, like you're an addict. And meanwhile, the most amazing people were addicts.
Absolutely.
Or had an addiction. I mean, musicians, poets, writers.
Joe Walsh, James Taylor,
Steven Tyler,
Eminem and he's all into working out now.
Yes, you saw that too. I read that article
too.
Yeah, now he's like working out for my recovery.
Yes.
And
Ricky Bird.
Yes,
from,
and talking with young people, like everybody who's young loves Eminem. Okay, it's just a fact.
Absolutely.
He's such an inspiration to me. I mean, when I was getting sober, I would listen to his songs every day. Macklemore, he's another one. I mean, there's great people. Lana Del Rey. These people are in recovery. Demi Lovato.
Yes.
That talk about their recovery, openly. So, what are you going to hide, be a hermit for the rest of your life and say, oh, no, I can't talk about my stuff?
Sometimes with anything, when you get out in front of it, you can no longer feel shame about it, because you're the one that's in control of telling your own story.
Right, like when you make fun of yourself, like this thing isn't perfect about yourself. You're like, oh yeah, my missing thing over here, like my hair's not, color on this side. You bring it to light, and it's like people laugh, and it's like, whatever. And if somebody loves you and cares about you, they're not gonna care that you once had an addiction or you had a drug problem, or they're not gonna care that you once maybe had cancer. It's the same thing, because
it is exact thing.
It is a brain disease.
Yes.
It is. You know what I mean? It doesn't start off like that, but eventually it does become a brain disease, a survival.
Yes.
And then there's no going back at that point.
For anyone that hasn't walked in your shoes, and I've had many occasions where people want to criticize me, and I know what kind of mom I was. No one can make me feel any different about that. So, but if you're looking at my life and want to criticize me, what's wrong in your life that you need to have be critical of me when you don't even know me?
That's what people
do. But that's what people do.
That's what people do.
It makes their life look so much better.
And exciting.
They don't have to think about all the things that are truly wrong in their world.
Yes, and
right?
somebody once said to me, and I believe this strongly, little people talk about people, and big people talk about making changes in the world.
Yes.
Like, that's just what it is.
That's
if you're going to sit there and talk about people, you're going to get more gossip and negativity in your life. I'm over here talking about, let's change public policy. Let's help the children in our schools. Let's help people get sober, even though they may throw a chair at me during an intervention, but at least they're going to be alive, and then 6 months later they'll call me like, I'm okay, Tatiana. Thank you for doing that today.
And that's exactly what happens. They yell, curse, carry on, call you every name in the book. You have to have a really tough skin.
Yes.
Parents,
and God gave that to me, fortunately. And they try to get over on me, like, oh, maybe I can do this way and that way. And I'm like, no.
Right.
Absolutely not,
I know. That's why you and I work well together. Because I tell the parents, no, while you work with their child.
Yes.
You have to have a tough skin.
I love them,
too. You do love them.
I do. I really do. I love them all.
When you love someone, you have to be willing to do tough love.
Yes.
And you have to be willing. You have to be, you always have to stand where you've always stood for what you believe in. Once you compromise your integrity, who have you become? My dad used to always tell, I'm the youngest of 5 kids, you go through life with your name. Don't put a mark on it and no one can ever talk about you. So you
That's
live
good.
by
That's
your
true.
integrity.
I love that.
You know, and if you make a mistake, you make a mistake. That's okay. It's not a big deal. But you have to live by certain rules. So I know, you know, you're on a great road and you're going to accomplish great things.
It's exciting.
It is exciting.
We're like in the recovery movement right now. Like
Yes.
major changes are happening.
Major changes.
Now
are
we're
happening.
having peer advocates, you know,
Yes.
recovery coaches are getting implemented, you know, and there's some kinks that need to be worked out with boundaries and ethics and all of that kind of thing. But honestly, like all everyone wants is human connection. It's like what drives everything.
It does. What
It really does. You know, just when I just sit down and I'm listening to somebody, even if they think they sound like a nut job, that's cool. You
But
could be a
that's
nut
why
job. You could be a nut
this-
job with me.
You know, when you see kids only doing this, enough. Have human interaction with your friends.
They get addicted to that.
Yeah, and you don't
In a
need-
superficial world, it's not
it-
real.
Yeah.
You know, it's
So-
good for business and marketing, and it's fun, and okay, fine.
And it's great
But-
for kids to but
Yeah.
you know, when you're sitting next to your friend, don't text them, talk. You know, don't, so much cyberbullying, which leads children down a horrendous path. And you know exactly, you know, the suicides that can come from that, the need to escape from your world then. So why do we have so many young people looking to turn to substances? What's going on in a 12-year-old's world that could be so terrible that they need to disconnect? Human interaction,
Yep.
cyberbullying, all of those things.
Yeah.
We need just to, you know, they need just...
Kids are mean. Like,
Kids are
straight
mean.
up. They're
Oh.
very mean.
They're
Like,
very
when I was
mean.
in high school, slut. I'm like, I'm a virgin.
Right.
Am I slut?
I know.
I didn't understand, you know?
understand why
And then
they
I would
were
beat them up.
calling that. Yeah.
I
But-
started fighting back, and then I became the bully, really. You
Yeah.
know? That's what happens.
But that was a cry for help from you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you react to what's thrown at you.
Yep.
So you know, we need to teach kids today. Kim Laube runs such an incredible program on Shelter Island to empower teenagers how to cope with what's going on in their world.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of terrible things going on in a lot of young adolescents' world. How to cope, how to talk about it, how to empower yourself not to do drugs and alcohol,
Yeah.
because your problems are still going to be there. So you can't put them on the side and party for a few years, because that pile of problems on the side gets a lot bigger, and so does your addiction.
And then it ruins your inside your body, your liver deteriorates, then you start to have the look,
Yeah.
the addict look. Your face has holes in it because you're picking it all the time in the mirror. I mean, it's horrible.
It is horrible.
Horrible.
It is horrible.
You know, and then you think you look good.
Yeah.
You really think,
Yeah.
like, I thought I looked good, you know?
What words would you give to young people today? So tell us, where would you love to see them if they're struggling? Where would the first place for them to go?
The first place, if they're struggling with an addiction?
Yes.
Well, it depends on what it is. I would contact somebody that could help you get either into a program or connect you to services, or get involved in a 12-step fellowship, or maybe YPR.
Okay.
But more importantly,
And YPR will help them get services too.
yes, YPR will help them get services. They'll connect them with housing or treatment or employment, whatever they really need.
Now, I know that you did the press release for Combat Heroin.
Yeah.
What is the text number? Do you remember it?
The text number,
For Combat Heroin, that they can't they text now?
the Hope Line.
The Hope Line.
Yes, in the next part after break, I have it in my
Okay.
phone. I don't know it by
Excellent.
heart.
So
Yes,
we'll-
and
so
on
we'll
the next
bring
break,
that up.
I'll bring it up definitely.
Okay.
And also something like really important is what I do. And again, they're not, the people that I work with aren't so receptive in the beginning when I bring this kind of stuff up. But I ask them, like, what do you like to do? What is something that you think in your heart that you can't do, but you would really love to do, like your dream? And one of the kids that I was helping, which actually he went to treatment today, he's like, I want to sing. He's like, I don't know how to, but I want to learn how to. You know, and that was very important statement.
Yes.
That was more important than anything. Because that's something that he's passionate about. Maybe he can't do it, but people learn to do everything. There's a book on everything today. But you could learn.
That could be your hobby. It may not be the way you make a living, but if you love to sing.
Exactly.
You know, God loves to hear anybody sing.
Exactly.
You know?
So, and I said to this person, I said, and you can do that. Get off the heroin.
Right.
And I said, you go to treatment for 30 to 60 days into sober living. Anything is possible for you. Sign up for voice lessons. Maybe you won't be the next, you know, Billy Joel or Steven Tyler, but you could do something that makes you happy and fulfilled. I always ask people, what is something that's going to make you happy? You know, I ask them that.
What's your goal?
I always ask every one of my clients that. I do.
Yeah.
And everyone, my friends too. I'm like, what do you want to do? What's going to make you happy? You know, and you nourish that. You keep nourishing it. Like now I'm myself getting back into singing, you know?
I know, I saw that.
This is something that
We'll be right back, and we're going to have that Hope Line connection for anybody that's struggling right now, that they could reach out and get in touch with somebody tonight. We'll be right back.
Hey, I'm Tom Mealy from Madhousetv Studios. Hey, listen, you know, we talk about so many times about what we do here at Madhousetv, our internet radio show, our TV shows, the series of shows we're doing, and then even recently the pay-per-view shows. But you know what, guys? Today, it's not about us. It's about you. Here at Madhousetv, we're going to give you the opportunity to do your own internet radio show on iTunes USA and also on iEntertainment Radio. And the best part about this, it's free. It's free today, it's free tomorrow, it's free next year. This is going to give you the opportunity to get your message out, the opportunity to grow your name, the opportunity to do what you've been dying to do for years. If you have what it takes to be part of this team, you need to give us a call at 631-669-7999. Start your new internet radio show today on some of the best equipment available for internet broadcasting. You know, over the 5 years that we've been in business, Madhousetv has made some name for itself. We've had Twitter, people from all over the world Twitter us and send us emails. Recently, Ron Howard, Michael J. Fox, Henry Winkler, and people like Donnie Most from Happy Days. They've been here. They've had the opportunity to be part of this event. Now, you know, it's not going to stop here. It's going to continue to grow. So be part of this magnificent growth. Be part of the Madhouse TV team. Be part of history. Give us a call today, 631-478-2793 or 631-669-7999. We'll see you on the air. Take care.
Welcome back to Long Island in Crisis and my beautiful guest, Tatiana Green. And we do have that information for our listeners right now, for our viewers.
Yes,
for the Hope Line.
Yes, this
so
is
anyone struggling with the disease of addiction that is looking for help can actually text. And what's the code, Tatiana?
You can call or text 1-877-8-HOPE-NEW-YORK. And you can also short text Hope New York, which is 467-369. 467-369. And you can text whatever you're choosing. If you're struggling with addiction, mental illness, suicide, whatever you're struggling with, you can text them.
And there'll be someone
and
on
there
the
will
other
be
end
someone.
of that.
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We also on Long Island, in New York, we have Long Island Council on Alcohol and Drug Dependency.
Mm-hmm.
That's right, 2 offices, Mineola and Ronkonkoma.
Yep.
And they're always on call also, but they're always on call right there. Families in Supportive Treatment has a website.
Yes.
Families in Supportive Treatment.
Yep.
And there's a list of services there, but the Combat Heroin website is not just for heroin, it's for addiction, period.
Yep.
And there is a list of approved treatment centers on there.
Mm-hmm.
So don't be afraid to call out, don't be afraid to reach out. That's the first step, correct?
Yep. The worst thing you can do is not say anything at all. Because then it doesn't exist. Everything is created with language and communication.
The silliest question that is asked is the one that isn't asked.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So who cares? Who cares?
Yeah, who cares?
Right.
Who cares? I have so many people tell me these things. Oh, this one did this and that one did that and this and that. And my response is always, who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Let them live your life. Who cares?
Parents or loved ones of people who are struggling with an addiction, when the person struggling says, oh, I can't go, the sober house is dirty, people are, doing this, I can't go to that treatment facility because, this is what happened. No. No. The answer is no. Those are all excuses, correct? So let's give a few tidbits that we could give to some people, for family members that are struggling with.
Well, one thing is you do want to check out the center, because there can be centers that are doing things that are out of integrity, and we don't want to go that route. So yes, check out the center. Don't badger them and call every day, did my kid brush his teeth today? Not healthy. Not healthy for you, and not healthy for them. Okay? Once a week
Let's
updates.
remember the 3 C's.
Yes.
You didn't cause it, you can't control it, and you can't cure it.
Exactly. True. So that's one thing. You do want to check it out, make sure that it's a legitimate place.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you want to give incentive too. It's very, very good with people in recovery
You
to
mean
give
buy
them.
somebody a car afterwards?
No.
Oh,
No,
okay.
no,
I
no,
just
no,
want to
no.
be clear on incentives.
No. They don't want to give everybody, you don't want to give them back everything too soon. But if you see the person is doing really, really well, they're going to meetings, they have a little part-time job, they're working, and maybe they're a little bit short and they do need some help, then you can offer some assistance. That's what my parents did for me. But I was doing the right things. I was working. I was going to meetings. I was involved in recovery.
Did they give you cash, or sometimes I tell parents if they're doing the right thing, maybe you pay their cell phone bill so that they, I never encourage people to give. Cash money can sometimes be a trigger.
Yeah,
So
no, not in the
incentives,
beginning.
Let's take you shopping and let's get you some new clothes. Let's,
Exactly.
things that can make them feel good about themselves.
Exactly. But limited.
Limited.
Not, here's thousands of dollars, let's buy, let's go get a Louis Vuitton bag today. No, because then they don't know the value.
Right.
They have to learn responsibility, because one day you're not going to be there.
Yes.
They have
And
to grow
respect.
up.
And it's about what you need, not what you want. So your needs are very small. Really, if you have a warm place to sleep, or in the summer a cool place to sleep, food in your belly, water to drink, you're okay. You don't need the latest, greatest gadget. You don't need all of those things. You need your peace of mind.
Yes.
You need to be sober and on a good road to recovery. That should always be the first and foremost thing.
Yeah.
And families, We have to encourage them to get educated on the disease and have their own toolbox so that they are empowered to deal with all the lying and manipulation that will come their way.
Yes, and that's another thing. Your kids are going to say anything to get their way.
Absolutely.
You know, that's just the way that it is. I mean, I made up so many lies to my parents. I'm never going to do it again. You know, get me this car and this will make me feel better. I need this new bag. I need this. I need that. And it was constantly, I want. And all I was doing was stealing from them, taking their money, getting high, drinking, badgering.
You know, Sarah Smith was here about a month ago with her mom and everything that she did to her mom also. Same story. You know, when Larry Glens was here last week, who wrote the book Forgiving Kevin, we had it's always the same story. It really is, because it's the same disease. So it's not that it manifests itself differently. We have to each do our own part.
Yeah.
In the line of the in the progression of the disease. We each need to do our own part.
You have to stand firm, and you have to get involved in family support services, and you know, you learn to trust the person again, and you'll know the difference, because they're not going to ask anymore. You know, they're going to do things on their own.
Yes.
You know, they're going to develop on their own.
There's also a different attitude that comes with sobriety, which is a grateful heart all of a sudden. They're grateful to be alive.
Yes.
Grateful that they were given a second chance with their family.
Yeah.
And they may not get a second chance so quickly.
Yeah.
You know, and people need to encourage them not to give up.
Yes.
You know, it's a road that goes both ways. So for all the things that you did do on your way down, you're going to have to pay the toll on the way back into your family's hearts.
You have to work for it.
You have to
do
for
some
it.
work. Yeah.
But anything worthwhile is worth working for.
Yeah.
So on October 4th, there is a huge rally in Washington, D.C.
Yes. Unite.
Yes.
It's a big deal. There's some undisclosed celebrities going to be performing that I don't really know yet who they are.
Well, it could be Joe Walsh, Steven Tyler,
maybe.
James
We don't really know. I don't really know.
We don't know.
We don't know.
Maybe
it could
was
be.
Incredible last year, and that was Ricky Byrd. And I forget the name of his group, but Ricky is going to be a guest soon. And the music was phenomenal last year. You and I were there last year.
Fed Up.
Fed Up.
Yes. Fed Up is going to be the 3rd. On the 4th is Unite. So there's 2 rallies.
There's 2 rallies
over that weekend. Yeah, it's a big deal. So anyone who's interested in becoming a part of the recovery movement and just celebrating recovery and meeting people from all across the nation who are in recovery, and people that are making moves. I mean, people that are impacting the world are going to be there. So
you know, we're coming up on an election year again. We're moving into that. If we're not happy with the status quo, you can whine about it, you can cry about it, but I encourage everyone to stand up and do something about it. You can't whine and cry if you're not willing to do something about it.
Yeah.
So we need to come together as a country and to really fight this disease, you know, and make changes. The shame, the stigma, that needs to go away.
Has to go.
Parity with treatment. This disease needs to be on the same level with any other disease that is recognized by society. And that includes mental health issues.
Same.
Because mental health issues and addictions, yes, they go together.
Depression, anxiety, yeah.
If you have any of those underlying diseases, you're going to look to self-medicate.
Yep.
And they typically do go together, that's for sure.
100%.
So I think for us to end tonight, we have August 30th, Long Island Unite to walk to bring awareness to substance use. Those who have lost their battle, those who are still struggling, and celebrate all these amazing people. Look at my friend Tatiana. You know, I would venture to say that each and every Long Islander works with someone who's in recovery and doesn't even know it. You know, you don't know what battles each and every one face and the demons that they have.
They attract to me. They
Yes,
just
me
know.
too.
They're like, you can help my daughter.
Yes,
I'm like, how'd you know?
But we all need to come together and have, you know, have a heart and to give. You know, kindness doesn't cost a thing. Understanding doesn't cost a thing. It might cost you a little time and patience to help somebody on the road to recovery.
Yeah.
And
don't give up.
Don't ever give up.
I never give up on people.
Never
I don't enable them.
Don't enable them,
But I never give up on them.
A few websites. FIST, Families in Support of Treatment, combatheroin.ny.gov.
Yes.
We can go, you know, I want to see everybody walking this year. We need to come together and we need to take the veils off people that are uneducated on the disease of addiction.
And it's our first walk on Long Island.
It's our first walk many
ever.
That's going to come.
It's going to be a big deal.
Yes, it's going to be a big deal. And it's going to be a wellness day. So there'll be activities for all families, you know, children. Don't be afraid to bring your children. And don't not come because you don't suffer with the disease yourself. I'm sure you know someone who knows someone. So just come and empower yourself, educate yourself so that you can do a better job for your family on raising your children, or maybe it's, you know, your nieces, nephews, cousins. There's someone in everybody's family. So I encourage everyone to do that. I want to thank Tatiana for joining me tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Much.
It's a blessing.
And we have young people in recovery.
Yes, YPR.
YPR. Yes. That's
Please join the force.
Yes,
we're making things happen. So
making things happen.
Very
making
exciting.
Things happen in a big way.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yes.
Any closing thoughts for us?
Just that recovery is possible for anyone.
Well, you know, I'll share with our studio audience. Sober is sexy. That's your little hashtag.
Yes, that's my hashtag for everything. And my sponsor's like, what's up with the sober is sexy thing, Tatiana? And I'm like, because it is. What do you want me to say? Drunk is sexy? Because it's not throwing up in the corner.
Sexy.
Sober is sexy. And I rep that
note,
all day.
I thank you for joining us tonight. Next week, John Benza, who is the Vice President of Outreach in Brentwood, which is an adolescent program, will be here to empower parents and educate parents on, you know, protective factors that we can do with our children. Thank you again, Tatiana. Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
Have a great week.
Hotel room, musty people.